What's up, guys? It's Ohmwrecker, and today I'm taking a look at Expeditions Conquistador. This is kind of a last-minute video that popped up where I got a build from the developers, and this is a game that's currently on Kickstarter with only a little over 2 days left. So if you do like this video, the gameplay that you see, and you have interest in it, be sure to check out their Kickstarter page. I'll link it in the description. And if you want, you can pledge a little bit of money to secure the game so you can get it upon release, or even get some of the little extras that they're offering as well. So with that said, the studio that's making this game right now, I'm told that there's only 6 developers that are working on it full time, but they do employ contractors in other countries. The studio itself is called Logic Artists. They're out of Copenhagen, so it's a European developer, and this is actually their second game. Alright, so let's talk about this game. It's a little bit difficult to label it in one specific genre because you've got this overlay type map that you get pushed into once you start the game, and this is after you create your character and also select his followers. And the interesting thing there is that the followers have a number of different traits. They can be more peaceful minded, they can be racist, they can be pious. So you've got to deal with these aspects of these characters which do influence the game pretty broadly. And once you get past that, though, when you get into this overlay map, you have to start dealing with the Spaniards that are in this location and also the locals. Now the locals, they obviously appreciate their traditions, and they're dealing with these foreigners, which you are also part of. You're also a foreigner, you're a conquistador. But the Spaniards that are on the island, at least a significant chunk of them, they've got an attitude where these locals are kind of like primitive and not quite up to the standards of, you know, modern people. So this is what you get thrown into when you get into the game. And initially you arrive at a dock, you're immediately approached by somebody who confiscates your goods, your ship, and also your people. And the choices that you make right at this very first encounter actually do have some potential consequences to them. So it's almost like a choose-your-own-adventure while you're going through these dialogue trees, where your responses actually have an impact on the game. But anyway, once you get done with the confiscation encounter, you're told to go see the local governor, who's going to talk to you more about the reason that they're confiscating all your goods. And he quickly informs you that there is an issue on the island that, in his opinion, takes priority over needing to go back to the mainland. And the problem is that they're having issues with the locals, and one specific event in particular, he wants you to go look into and deal with. And that's where you've got locals that are practicing some sort of ritual of some sort. He doesn't really tell you too much about it because he honestly doesn't know. And he wants you to go take care of it, go talk to those people, and get rid of the problem because they seem to be affecting the trade routes. So this is where the game kind of starts to give you freedom to mold the relationships between the Spaniards and also the people, where you can approach it with an iron fist, or you can be the peacemaker, or at least try to be, with your decisions. So that in itself is a pretty unique aspect about the game, but additionally there's also a progression path where you can enhance the tools that you have where you're dealing with combat situations. You can get things like traps and barricades, for example, and also upgrade your character skills. But there's also a trade mechanic as well, where you have to manage your supplies, and one way to do that, besides finding goods when you're out exploring the land that you're on, is actually working with the local trade market and exchanging your valuables and goods for other valuables and goods. And these goods are actually very, very important to your whole party, because as you progress through the missions and quests and explore the land, you're actually going to be using up your rations, your medicine, and also your supplies. So you got to keep that in mind as you're progressing through this game, because these things will deplete over time, especially as random events pop up, where it's not just like local savages who are trying to kill you, but you also might have individuals that get sick because you cross through a swamp or jungle area, and you've got to take care of them with medicine and hope that they don't die. Early in Expedition Conquistador, though, you're going to see the other side of the game, which is actually a lot different than what I've been talking about so far. It's the tactical combat side that occurs once you get into a combat engagement. And your first engagement is going to be relatively safe because it occurs in town, and it's more or less a practice run. In other words, you don't have to worry about losing any party members during this fight because it's more or less a tutorial. And during this is where you can actually see what the roles are of some of the characters that you've chosen to follow you. That specifically boils down to the hunters, the soldiers, and also the doctors. Doctors can heal up party members. Soldiers are really, really good up close and personal, but their melee attacks are not quite so good at range, although they do carry a gun. And the hunters are excellent at range combat where they have really high accuracy, and also a skill shot that allows them to shoot twice in a round with half accuracy. But they do not do that well if an enemy gets up close and in their face. There are rules though already in this build that govern combat, such as being able to move only so many turns and still be able to attack that round. If you go beyond it, yes, you can still move closer to the enemy or away from them, but you can no longer attack back if you're near them or if you have a ranged weapon that would normally reach them. There's also a bonus for flanking, or if you have a unit in front of a target and also on the opposite side while still remaining next to it, you get a flanking bonus which does extra damage. There are also attacks of opportunity, and one example is if you try to initiate a ranged attack from point blank range. If you try to do that, the enemy gets a first shot off or first attack with a melee weapon before you get to initiate yours. So you have to take that into account before you engage in ranged combat. When the battle finally ends and one side's been eliminated, you can see the victory type that you received. Flawless is obviously the best, but you can also look at the status of your soldiers to see if they're healthy or if they've been wounded in some way, at which point they're probably going to need medical care. Before I wrap things up though, I do want to say that I did see at least 2 other combat locations that had their own specific maps. One was out in the mountains, and the map was actually huge with enemies attacking from 2 different fronts. And the other map was a little bit smaller. It was set in a temple setting with a shaman and everything. I don't know exactly how many are in this build. I have not been able to explore the entire continent just yet, but it does look like there are going to be a number of maps, all unique in their own way, and set up with the story events that happen. And you know what, if you go the peaceful route, you might not even have to see these maps. You might not even have to lift up a gun and kill anybody. I also saw a number of different side quests, not just the core quests, but also side quests that you get from people throughout the town, and also it seems like there's going to be side quests related to the tribes people. So I don't want to show all that because I don't want to ruin anything else for you guys, especially since there are different paths and I don't want to ruin those potential options for you to see what they do. Anyway guys, with all things considered, you can see that this is shaping up to be a pretty decent title. The developers have a lot to show on Kickstarter versus some of the other projects we've seen. And from what I understand, this build will be going out to Kickstarters once the campaign ends. If you do see this video after the campaign, still check this game out and keep an eye on it. If you do like strategy at all, it does have potential, as I had said, and it's definitely going to be worth watching. So thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like, favorite, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you like this video, and of course, tell your friends about my channel. I always appreciate it when you guys do that. And of course, stay tuned for more videos. I'll see you guys next time. Oh man, caught a thief red-handed. What to do with this guy? Well, I can't kill him. It'd probably be my preferential choice. No, I'll just put him on toilet duty. Have fun, bro.